Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Your host, the Raven, here, bringing you some Path of Exile. I just completed my first Trial of Ascendancy as a Templar, and I'm going to go over the Ascendancy Pass for the Templar and just a little bit about it in general, the update in general, this content of the game. As I mouse over all the individual nodes, so you can pause the video and read each node at your convenience. If there's something you think went by too fast or you need to read it again, hey, just hit the pause button when you see my mouse over it. I spent a couple seconds on each node, so you have that ability. Anyway, Trial of Ascendancy, new content for Path of Exile. It's free. Like all the things that come out with Path of Exile is one of the reasons why it's such an amazing game. Basically, the gist is there's a new labyrinth and there's new Trials of Ascendancy, and each character class has three pathways that he can choose, or he or she can choose to ascend, quote unquote, which just basically means way more power, like huge boost in power and ability for your chosen class. Every class has three, with one exception, and that's the Scion. The Scion only has one, which makes sense because she's smack dab in the middle of the board. She can access just about every character power. She can get a taste of just about everything. Depends on what you make her. Whereas the other characters, they do start off in a certain location, and it's a lot harder for them to reach other areas that are on the opposite side of the board, so to speak. So anyway, with the Templar, you have three: Inquisitor, Hierophant, and Guardian. Inquisitor is your melee destroyer. Like, if you are the type that you like melee, you like smashing heads with your hammer or whatever, annihilating the enemy, you want to pick Inquisitor. It gives huge bonuses to attack damage, spell damage. You get life regen, just all types of different boosts and increase speed and chances of things. Like, it's amazing. That's your main go-to spot. For if you're a magic caster, Hierophant is your class because it gives you infinite mana. I mean, totems, like charges and things like that. Like, each class has a little quote, and it really applies to the character a lot. Amazing. It's an amazing way to kind of describe what each class does. I personally have chosen the Hierophant, but at the time of the video, I didn't know which one I was going to pick because each one is so good. But anyway, to get to the to the labyrinth, and to be able to beat the Trial of Ascendancy first, in each difficulty, there's three kind of there's six kind of mini trials or whatever. Like, these are they're like the first couple of tests, and they're within each certain areas of the game and in each chapter. And those things kind of get you used to the new content, because the one thing they added with the Ascendancy is traps and environmental hazards. Like, before, the only thing you had to worry about was the enemies in Path of Exile, and every now and then someone would do something like cast an area of effect, like if they died, they leave poison gas, or they throw like a burnt, like a Molotov cocktail or something, and the ground will be on fire, something like that. Or if you go to a corrupted area, there'll be there could be a hazardous ground mod, ice on the ground, electricity on the ground, fire on the ground, that type stuff. But with the Ascendancy content, there are traps. There's the lava one, there's the saws, there's the flying discs. I mean, there's which is the worst, and I find the most dangerous, are the rotating columns of spikes. There's also dart traps that they're like totems or statues or columns that spit darts in different directions. Those aren't the worst. When they hit you, they slow you. They only really come into play if it's mixed with another trap. I mean, unless you just have like zero defenses or whatever. But most of the time, like, I just take a hit to the shield and keep going, at a slightly slower pace for a little bit, but it's no big deal. I mean, there was one time where I just stood in front of one, just constantly taking hits, because I was in the menu doing something, and then I looked and I realized, wait a minute, my guy's getting hit. So I looked, and it was because I was standing in front of one of those arrow traps. So the arrow traps not that bad, but the other ones are brutal. and there's something to watch out for. So anyway, you have the mini trials. They usually consist of a room full of traps with different enemies here or there, and movement skills really come into play. They really help out a lot because it lets you can skip past or dash through certain hazards, and that's very useful, very helpful in the ascendancy trial. So anyway, once you complete all 6 of the mini trials or mini tests, then you get access to that difficulties labyrinth. And the labyrinth is basically I don't know how many rooms it is, but let's just say eight to 10 different rooms. They all are jam packed with monsters. Each one has like a little area that's filled with traps. So it pays attention. It really helps you to learn the traps, learn the best way to get past them, learn what to do, or else you will be cooked. Your butt will be roasted. If you die in the labyrinth or the actual ascendancy trial, you get kicked out. You lose all progress. Whatever items you found, you get to keep. That you acquired before your death. But if you portal out or die, you get kicked out. You have to start it all the way over from the beginning, which can be very frustrating if you're trying to level up or you're just trying to beat it. 'Cause, I mean, it is long. I mean, there are people who like done it in 3 minutes or 4 minutes or whatever. But they have like really insane builds, and if you don't have an insane build, if you're playing it for the first time with your character, it will be a struggle for you. So be prepared to spend time. Like, I would say at least before you take on a Trial of Ascendancy, set aside at least 2 hours just to be safe. Like, make sure you don't have to go to work. Like, it's not something you can do like, oh, well, I got 20 minutes before it's time for me to go to work, or 20 minutes before school, or 20 minutes before my friend comes to pick me up for, whatever reason. This is not something you could just skip ahead and rush through.
Drink deeply from God's
like, you really want to make
chalice,
sure you have time to complete it. And also, you have to fight a really difficult boss, Exile. I think he's the first emperor of the Eternal Empire or whatever. And he is insane. He also has traps and stuff in his room. And it's just an insane boss fight. But anyway, it's well worth it. The treasure, the abilities for ascending are just insane. Like, it is a must. I don't care what build you have. I don't think there's any build possible, no matter how crazy or obscure, that wouldn't benefit from ascending and earning that class right. And if you do have a really insane build and you're really good at killing things and killing bosses or whatever, then I mean, why would you even hesitate? Now, it's one thing if your character is on the weaker side, you're still working on your build, you still have some levels to go in your quest or your Path of Exile journey, then you might want to wait. I definitely recommend waiting until you're strong enough. If you're solo, if you have friends or whatever, you have to know your strengths and weaknesses. If you get with stronger friends, then it'll be probably wiser for you to hang back, during the boss fight or whatever, and let them take care of business. But if you're solo, it's very difficult. It is time consuming, and you don't get a second chance. Even if you're disconnected with, like, your internet screws up or something else happens and you're disconnected, you have to start over. So make sure you have the time, make sure you have the ability, and go at it, because it is fun. I enjoyed it. There's lots of thrills and surprises, and it's very simple to get through. Each room gives you a stone. It gives you your place on the map, and it shows you what is in that room. Is there a door? Is there a key? So it lets you know, hey, don't skip this room without finding this. But nothing's mandatory. If you don't feel like finding a key or finding a door or whatever, you can just go through it. The only law is don't die. That's the only rule that you have to abide by if you want to succeed. So anyway, just a little quick look at my loot. I gave y'all a quick look at my build at the time of recording. Now that I look at it, it's way early. I can tell just by looking at my character the differences from him then and him now. And it's a huge difference. But anyway, I was able to solo the cruel difficulty ascendancy and able to ascend and makes it now able to bring this video to y'all. Anyway, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and write, give me your own path of exile history and what path did you pick when you ascended. Thank you for watching and have a great day.